What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, man. We're going to talk about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury and this undercard, this crazy undercard that's being rumored to take place. Also, what the effects of that are going to be on boxing and observation of my man. Subscribe to Blue Blood Sports TV, man. He's been doing a ton of good work, man. Definitely check out my man's channel, getting interviews. Just had one he put up today, or last night rather, with Sean Porter talking about a fight with Errol Spence Jr. I checked it about halfway through. I'm gonna watch the rest of that after I get off this, but definitely check out Blue Blood Sports TV and the work that he's doing. It's great work. I saw another video where he talked about the effects of the pay-per-view on how it might discredit boxers who are on the card because the card's so thick in the negotiations with other fighters. And then I want to talk about something else that's just a little more personal. I usually don't do these in videos, but I'm going to do it because man, you guys out there to be listening to these videos, and I'm not talking about to the cats in the LDBC or people who are supporters of the channel. I'm talking about you guys, man. You guys are funny. I watch your videos, man. I spent last evening watching the new waves of hate for non videos and slide comments, and I went through all my comments, and man, it was so much fun, man. It's so much fun watching cats rack their brain upside a wall trying to figure out how they can make an argument that doesn't work. And I'm waiting for somebody to there's one guy that made a good argument, man. He made a good argument, and it was real simple. He said, "This is my opinion, and I respect your opinion." All right, cool. So I can't wait to see the fight. Hey, I agree with you in that regard. That's your opinion. This is my opinion. We can't wait to see the fight. When the fight happens, that's when facts are established. That's when the facts hit the road, when the fight happens. Who wins, who lost. And that's all that matters, should matter from a sports fan perspective. The 99% of the rest of that stuff is opinion. And one person's opinion and one person sharing their opinion about another person's opinion and calling that person biased, to me, is an absolute joke. I'm calling somebody a liar and then never pointing out something that's not true. However, be so easily fact checked. Oh, God, you guys are funny. Really true. You trying too hard, man. You trying too hard. So anyway, I'll get into that. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury's card is if it is what it says it is going to be the biggest value for your money in boxing in my memory. I would pay $200 for that. If the pay-per-view was what it was, I would pay $200 for it. I would not miss it. No, as a boxing fan, there's no way I can miss it. I would rearrange stuff. I would make sure, that everything was in place. I ain't live streaming and I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting down probably with a glass of wine from the first fight, and I'm just going to love it all the way through, and then I'll make videos afterwards. But I would pay whatever. I would pay, as long as it's not anything over $200, I'm paying it. I'm not streaming it because I got to encourage something like this if this card is what's happening. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury is the main event. Let's start the evening with just on regular Showtime before the pay-per-view goes. They announced that you're going to have Adonis Stevenson versus, I think it's a Wojciech. So you start off with Adonis Stevenson. Then my understanding is you got Luis Ortiz that's looking to be on that undercard. And I've heard that you've got Adam Kornacki, Joe Joyce, Gervonta Davis, Abner Mares, Leo Santa Cruz, Gary Russell Jr. That's crazy. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, of course. But then I even heard, and I don't believe all these guys can be on here. That's too good to be true. It's too good to be true to have Errol Spence Jr. I've heard that they're looking to put Keith Thurman on the undercard. Errol Spence Jr. on the undercard with Mikey Garcia. If they did that, that just would be the best. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's why I don't believe it. I'm going to tell you, I don't believe that undercard. That's too good. That's too good. And you know when you get a card that's put out there and you're like, God dog, man, it's pay-per-view without the main event. That's pay-per-view without the main event. Gervonta Davis, Abner Mars, Leo Santa Cruz, Gary Russell Jr., and whoever else, dude, that's worth putting money on. But then you have Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury for the lineal heavyweight championship, and that's the one that's guaranteed to be on there. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. And then to get fight cards before it on Showtime, that's crazy. That's worth the money. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case because that just seems to be so much. Now, would that discredit somebody in their pay-per-view sales, right? So I didn't listen to the whole video that Blue Blood did, but I'm just extrapolating on what the argument could be to discredit them. And, there's enough of you trolls. Nah, I would call you trolls. It's just you guys just a whack. Just guys, come on, man. You guys got to come better, man. You got to come better. That's why you keep losing. Year after year losing too. Year after year losing too. Most of you cats are the ones talking about Al Heyman going out of business. Remember that facts? Remember those facts? These cats are about facts. Remember when Al Heyman was going out of business? When they wouldn't have another show, how they were falling apart because Spike TV, because they lost a deal on Spike TV. You remember that? Come on, man. Remember when nobody knew Deontay Wilder? You remember that? Just come on, man. You just say whatever you got to say because your end goal is you want to discredit somebody. And you've been discrediting people for a lot of years. You cats have been discrediting the PBC and pretty much everything happening out of the PBC and associated with the PBC since the PBC started. And it didn't matter who. You discredited Anthony before this was discrediting Andre Ward. Andre Ward lost that fight. Andre Ward won't fight Gennady Golovkin. He's scared of Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin, how did that pan out for you, dude? Chocolatito's number one. Chocolatito number one. It's not Andre Ward. It's Chocolatito. How'd that work out for you? Where's Chocolatito? What happened to Sergey Kovalev? Sergey Kovalev's going to kill you. And Andre Ward's scared of Kovalev. He won't fight Kovalev. Knocked him out. Oh, he was hitting him below the belt. Oh, every time, dude. Every time. You get a brief reprieve every once in a while. Rigondeaux lost to Lomachenko. Brief reprieve. Even though most people told you, like I told you, that Lomachenko was going to win that fight. But facts, right? It's all facts. What you guys are talking about, all facts. What everybody else says, it's their opinion. It's just biased. The weakest argument that you could possibly make is name calling. That's the weakest argument that you can possibly make is name calling. Oh, you're just biased. That's ad hominem. Oh, they won't even let you make that argument they won't even let you make that in a real debate. They won't even let you make the arguments that you guys make. These biased channels. They did these biased channels. You're biased. You're spreading misinformation. You're lying without ever pointing out a time where somebody told a lie. Where's my lie? I've done 100 videos. I'm still waiting on somebody to point out a lie where I said something to intentionally mislead somebody. I'm not talking about whether or not if I say, okay, somebody fought on April 5th and they really fought in June. Right, some minor factual error in a fact. That's not a lie, and you can be wrong about a fact and still your opinion still be valid. But hey man, don't let that get in your way of bias. Anyway, so the conversation about but thank you for leaving the post, man. It makes my evening very, very fun. Slapping down people in arguments is just. It makes my evening. But as far as the argument that goes with about Deontay Wilder and whether or not he'd be discredited, yeah, he's going to be discredited. Absolutely. He's going to be discredited by the same people that are going to discredit him no matter what. If Deontay Wilder does 200 pay-per-view buys, he's going to be a bum. If he does 2 million pay-per-view buys, he should have done 3 with that card. It don't matter. If there was nobody else in the card and he did 4 million pay-per-view buys, it's going to be because Anthony Joshua's name was associated with it. Because they just want to know if he's going to fight Anthony Joshua. It doesn't matter. It absolutely positively doesn't matter. The same group of people who will say that Al Heyman and the PBC is going out of business are still saying they're going out of business. They can announce one of the biggest TV deals, have the between Fox and Showtime. Their ratings can surpass let me restate that. Make sure I think I spoke too fast. They can have one of the biggest deals in boxing history with a partnership between Brooklyn Boxing, Showtime, Fox, with a roster of over 200 of the best fighters in the world, regularly giving you good shows, and they're still falling apart. Why? Because Bob Arum will tell you that he's falling apart, or you'll hear a little rumor and that makes it must be true. It doesn't matter. Al Heyman can't afford $50 million for Anthony Joshua, even though he did a $500 million fight 4 months before the offer with Floyd Mayweather Jr., Conor McGregor. It just doesn't matter. But they're not biased. It's amazing how every argument that about some fighter associated with the PBC, with fighters like Andre Ward, for these guys almost always turn out where those guys are in the wrong and somebody else is in the right. They're falling apart. They're the one that's really ducking, right? So it was Andre Ward was really ducking Gennady Golovkin, right? Like, does that make sense? Now, looking back on it, that makes sense. But who did Andre Ward ever fight? Andre Ward got knocked down by Darnell Boone. He's not all that. He's just a dirty fighter, and Gennady Golovkin will destroy him. All of that nonsense. Nobody wants to fight Gennady Golovkin. Fast forward, Andre Ward retires undefeated after putting 175 pounder that everybody thought was in the top 10 pound for pound, top 2-3 pound for pound, making him quit sitting down on a rope. And Gennady Golovkin gets beat by a blown up 154 pounder off of his computer burgers. But that's not going to change their mind. And it's not going to change the people. And those are facts. Those are facts. It is what it is, man. There's no satisfying a certain dynamic of boxing fans. And I don't think that there ever will be, because boxing is adversarial in nature. You're going to see, and that's not just adversarial in the fighters, it's adversarial in the relationship between fans. Well, I saw it, on the channel, in my channel, in conversations about Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. It's very, very hard to ride the fence, even when you have the utmost respect for both fighters. You're still going to have fans that agree on 90% of things, shooting at each other about whether it's Errol Spence Jr.'s responsibility to try to fight Terrence Crawford, or it's Terrence Crawford's responsibility to do it, whether Terrence Crawford's going to walk through Errol Spence and, Errol Spence ain't never fought anybody. Well, Terrence Crawford ain't never fought a real welterweight. All those type of conversations are going to take place in boxing. But, as long as you acknowledge that those are your opinions, that's cool with me. Hey, I think Errol Spence is going to win. You think Terrence Crawford's going to dog walk him. Cool. The problem comes when people start acting, because when you call somebody else biased, right, you are assuming that you're the one that's being fair and they're being unfair. Because that's what bias means. Bias is an unfair prejudice against somebody. You're going to prejudge them. So it doesn't matter what Anthony Joshua does, I'm going to dislike what Anthony Joshua does. That's a prejudice, right? I'm prejudging it, right? Unfairly, because I don't like him. That's what that means. That's what a bias is. And you're saying that is just, somebody's trying to say that is just a way not to support their argument. Because they don't ever tell me about whether what I said is true or not true. If I say Anthony Joshua turned down $50 million, so I think he doesn't want the fight, what I hear in response is that Eric Molina was the 400th ranked heavyweight in the world when Deontay Wilder fought him. Number one, that's not true. Number two, what does that have to do with it? I'm talking about Anthony Joshua. The two are mutually exclusive. It is possible for me to for me to have an issue with Anthony Joshua and have an issue with Deontay Wilder. It's possible for me not to have an issue with Deontay Wilder and not have an issue with Anthony Joshua. That's the case with Tyson Fury. I don't have any issues with Tyson Fury and the way he handles himself. I don't have any issues with Deontay Wilder and how he handles himself. They're two mutually exclusive people. I can have a problem with how both people handle themselves. Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin. I had a beef with how they both handled themselves in the lead up to their fight. Canelo Alvarez, hey man, I'm a big fan of him, but he did pop for that Combuterol. And I can't sit up here and say just because I like him that didn't happen. And Gennady Golovkin has a trainer that said black fighters don't sell. And he's pimping and he's picking Mexican style when he's not Mexican. So I have an issue with both fighters. But it's ironic to me how I've never been called biased by somebody that agrees with me. Every single time I've agreed with someone, they've said that was a logical assessment. Every time I've ever been called biased, it's by somebody that disagrees with me. I can't wait for somebody to agree with me and call me biased at the same time. These type of guys never will. They will never say, well, you know what? You are right about Anthony Joshua being a very, very good fighter. But I think that you're biased. But I think that is because I've always said I think Anthony Joshua is a very good fighter. And I'm not 100% convinced about what will happen in that fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. I mean, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. But the one thing I'm sure about is that Anthony Joshua don't want that fight because that's how he acts. But anyway, all that's whatever, man. I'm going to wrap this up. A little bit of a rant on this video. But look, Undercard is going to be a great undercard if 1/4 of this stuff is true. And will it discredit Deontay Wilder? In the eyes of certain people, there is no crediting Deontay Wilder. You know, there is nothing. I've listened to guys already telling me, already doing videos. I hate that this dude's shit keeps coming up on my screen about how they're looking around to find how much money Deontay Wilder is fighting because, you know, he needs to confront the biased channels. So you running around looking for Deontay Wilder information so that you can disprove something that somebody else says, but you're not biased. I'm not going to call you biased, man. You have your opinion. I have mine. It is what it is, man. I'm never going to say something as a fact that's my opinion. It's my opinion. But I got a whole lot of people out there running around talking about they're talking facts when they're sharing nothing but their opinion. And at the same time showing a clear bias against the LDBC. You prejudge anything coming out of people's mouths because I'm just one person. You might find 3 people that have said something. You can't tell me that you've seen 250, 300, 400 people. How many people come to that live stream? 600 people? I know of at least 600 channels that are LDBC. You hear between channels and people who come to the channels hitting pound LDBC, talking about LDBC. I know at least 600 of them. I haven't written them down, but I know that there's at least 600 of them. And at the very least 600 of them. But you know what every one of these people think about everybody, right? And you're not biased. Anyway, it is what it is. And with that, I'm out. Peace.